So, welcome to this video. I'm going to be doing an album review. Full album review. Because I got asked, very politely, might I add, very, very nicely, to do a review of the Battle of Los Angeles album, one song by one song, and give my full thoughts about it. And the person who asked me to do this is Unthawed Water 747. So, Unthawed Water 747. Funny how someone with water in the name is asking me to do something. That's another reason I did, because I hella support drinking water. I'm just saying this before I review this album, one by one. I'm going to do something I really enjoy doing and gotta do before I do a full album review. I'm, of course, talking about smoking the Devin's lettuce, my friends. And it just so happens I have been setting some up. Now, I am not someone who does traditional reviews like that. Now, I like to do things with a little extra pizzazz. So what I'm going to do is, so I don't get copyrighted on this, I am going to listen to the song and give you my thoughts directly after I listen to the song. I can't, unfortunately, give you my full reaction to it because, like, WMG will straight up come from my booty hole. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. So I am preparing this massive rip that we're about to do before I do this. Now this is a classic That Devin trope, where in order to do something, I gotta use my getting high powers. Like Towley from South Park. Don't forget to bring a towel. 3, 2, 1. Let it rip. Then let's get into this review. And the chamber is cleared too. Well, I just found the Canadian nuclear development is happening right in my lungs. So a little fun thing before I get into this album. Fun fact, I'm actually a very big fan of Rage Against the Machine. I'm pretty sure you all know my videos and such. I have a kill switch wired into my main guitar. And Tom Morello was the first person to make me want to use a kill switch on a guitar. Second was Buckethead. But Tom Morello he made me want to put a kill switch on my guitar. So, Rage Against the Machine has also influenced how I like to approach guitar and make weird noises. So, let's get to this. Well, here I go. I'll see you guys after Testify. Just pausing a little way through Testify because this is still one of my favorite songs from Rage Against the Machine. And this is honestly probably one of the most fire songs on the album. And I really appreciate Testify. Well, time to get back to Testify. So, after finishing Testify, I say 5 things about Testify that really stand out and why I really like it. So, first, let's talk about that riff. That hook is honestly the main driving force of the song. The do 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 do. That that is what makes a song very memorable. When you have a hook that could just like get just stuck in your dome like that. The second thing I really like is I really like Zach De La Rocha's lyrics in it. Some of them really are timeless and can really be applied to today. Thirdly, as I said, Tom Morello's kill switch technique. This was one of the songs he applies a kill switch to, and he just chef's kiss. Now, the fourth thing I want to bring up that makes this song really epic is it doesn't feel long and drawn on. It doesn't feel way too repetitive. It's just the right amount of. It's just the right amount of section to time ratio. You got a lot of switching and easy transitions, and it doesn't feel like any part is meant to like be left to be longer than the other. So the last thing I want to bring up about Testify is it's one of the most intense drum parts that Rage Against the Machine has to offer. Trust me, you hear that song and it just it, you gotta listen to it to see what I mean. So this is already a great start from this album. Now we on to Guerrilla Radio, another classic from Rage Against the Machine. I'm like 4/5 of the way through Guerrilla Radio, and there's 2 things I want to say right now that is very, very, very integral to the part of the song I'm at right now. This man really do be throwing some odes to Jimi Hendrix in his playing. I'm talking about Tom Morello. Like that's definitely an ode to Hendrix right at this part. That's how that solo. That's why it's one of my favorite solos from Rage Against the Machine. Like I'd say, "Killing in the Name" is my favorite solo from Rage Against the Machine. But like This is my second favorite solo, is Guerrilla Radio. Okay, now time to get back to listening to this. So I got, my nose is really itchy today. It's really dry here in Canada. So I got 5 things to say about Guerrilla Radio that I really like. I don't really got much I dislike. That's why I didn't say anything I disliked about Testify either, because there wasn't anything I necessarily disliked about it. So about Guerrilla Radio is probably like the 5th song that I listened to from Rage Against the Machine that I'd say I listen to more frequently than most. I'd say Killing in the Name of, uh, Testify, Guerrilla Radio, um, Bulls on Parade, and I'd also say that I really like the answer was Bomb Track, by the way. I just had to search up the name of it. I had the lyrics in my head and I didn't want to make an ass of myself and say the name wrong, because that really was a nuclear hit of the Devin's lettuce. Um, but I digress. Bomb Track is really good. I'd suggest listening to Bomb Track. It's one of their hardest hitting songs. So now I have to say the rest of the stuff I like about Guerrilla Radio. Okay, so firstly, the ode to Jimi Hendrix. I gotta bring that up again because that's always one of the most important things, is when you could like drop a little nod to a guitarist you love. And I, I'd say the guitar is absolutely perfect in Guerrilla Radio. Now, second, this is once again a very aggressive drum song. This guy is hitting them. That guy is hitting them hats so hard, like just bashing him consistently and on time, and it just works. Secondly, the bass. The bass really sticks out on this one for me. I didn't bring up the bass on the last one because the bass wasn't necessarily a standout point for me. The bass was average, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The bass on this one kind of sticks out a little bit because the bass has a lot more groove to it, because the bass goes against the juxtaposing guitar line, which is Tom Morello just with a flanger and a harmonic effect. And that bass line just really gives it that funk, while that harmonic effect is going off. Fourthly, I want to talk about Zach once again. Zach just has this ability to just shout rap everything and nail it. That is why Rage Against the Machine are Titans, because damn, Zach could really front this band. Now, the 5th thing I want to bring up is I want to bring up the correlating build up to the solo and the descent from the solo. Because there's a build up to the solo where Zach does this nice little vocal cue that just really flows with Tom's guitar line. And it just fits together perfectly like a puzzle. Now I am going to listen to Calm Like a Bomb. This is going to be a long video, by the way. I didn't anticipate I was going to go on this long about songs, but hey, it's what it is. Ah, yes, I'm stopping this like a quarter of the way into the song. And I just want to state this about this song. This is a mosher. This is a song where you listen to it live and you're potentially throwing hands with people in the crowd. That's the kind of song this is. Time to continue watching this. So Calm Like a Bomb. I got four things to say that I like about it, and only one thing to say that I kind of dislike about it. So the first thing I want to say what I really like about it. I really like how this is a mosher. That bass line, go hard, yo. That bass line is the main driving portion of the song. And it just it just really hits hard. Tom Morello, second point. Is Tom Morello really shows that you don't really need to do much to make a guitar go good. And simplicity is definitely Tom Morello's finest attribute of this entire song. Thirdly, I want to bring up the drums. The drums are absolutely chill. The drums just give gives me this beat that I feel that I could just chill and get rid of people on Fortnite to this. And that's how I rate a good song sometimes. How much I could stand it as background music too, because I like using music as background music. And this is definitely a song I would use as background music. That's number 4. This is a song I would use as background music because it just feels like you're getting hit with a domain expansion from Jujutsu Kaisen, and you're just lost in the flow of it when you're actually really into the song. So, yeah, I'd say Calm Like a Bomb's only weak point is the lyrical content. There's not really much to the lyrics, but once again, simplicity is good, but I just I just feel there could have been more to it lyrically, because Zach, on like a lot of his material, he goes off, and sure, he's got his thing at the end of the song, but I feel Zach could have done a little more lyrically. Now, that doesn't detract from the song like that, but that's just my own sort of take on this, because this is me reviewing an album, and even if I like something, I'm going to say something about it because I'm an honest guy and I'm not going to hold back from you. So, mic check definitely sounds like a perfect song to check your mic to and level everything out. I'd say it's very evident with the guitar line the bass and the drums, because there's a lot of layering going on in this, and the layering really works for it. This is the 5 things I like about this song, because there's not a lot I don't like it. There's not a lot I there's not anything I don't like about this song, because it's definitely a good song. So I'd say the layering effect of the instruments is the first thing I wanted to bring up. The instruments just really work upon each other, and it's really good for sound leveling. I'd say if you were a sound guy and you were doing sound levels for mic check, this would be the song to do it to. Now, too, that guitar line is something I would expect from like a horror film. I really like how I really like how the do 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 really goes. It sounds very ethereal, and Tom Morello's use of guitar effects is just something that's godly. He was shoegaze before shoegaze was shoegaze. That's how ahead of the curve Tom Morello was. He may not be the most technical of guitarists, but this man could not only shred sometimes, but he can also really write a guitar line. Now, I'm about to say that Zach De La Rocha went hard in this song, as I would expect from Zach De La Rocha. Literally, this was one of those songs where I told you, man could go off. That's something that was lacking in Calm Like a Bomb, but makes up for it uh in Mic Check. I really like Mic Check. The fourth thing I really like about it is I really like the chilled nature of the bass line. It's something you could relax to, maybe smoke a couple Jaybirds and puff, and you could feel that in your soul. The boop, 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 boop. Now, the fifth and last thing I want to bring up is the overall tone of the song. The overall tone of the song, Mic Check, is just very chill. Is one of the more chill songs on the song, and it's very fun to throw that after you just had Calm Like a Bomb, which Calm Like a Bomb was in fact not calm. Spoiler alert, it's not calm, but it's explosive and heavy. Then there's this, which is kind of groovy, heavy, and chill. And that's the 5 things I like about Mic Check. Now, time to sleep now in the fire. Sleep Now in the Fire is definitely a song that you could beat people to Fortnite to. And um, beat people at Fortnite to. I mean, I'd say that's the first of 6 things I like about this song. Yes. The second thing I really like about it is the drum. The drum line is absolutely mint. I'd say the way that the drums ride the entire song is one of the reasons why this song is so damn awesome. Number 3, the guitar line, the guitar hook in this is pretty good, but the bass hook is even better than the guitar hook. And that's not by any means a negative thing. That bass hook in Sleep Now in the Fire is absolutely phenomenal. And it really suits the guitar line. Which now, fourth thing, I really like the guitar lines in this. Tom Morello is very explorative in this. He doesn't go too crazy like that, but he just explores it in such a way. I'd say the one thing I noticed about it is the harmonics that he's using in the verse patterns kind of remind me of the hospital. uh Reminds me of the hospital when you're hearing the beep, then it goes do 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 beep beep. Now the fifth thing I really like, this is another song where Zach De La Rocha goes hard vocally. He gets you really hype in it. He really puts you into the song. Now, that final riff, that final riff really hits it home. That final riff really hits it home, and that's the sixth thing. That final riff really kicks you in the cojones. And, yeah. Now it's time for Born of a Broken Man. That sounds way too relatable. My dad was pretty broken. Born of a Broken Man. I've stopped halfway through Born of a Broken Man. And I just want to bring up something that's probably going to be the first point I bring up about what I like about it. The spoken word aspect of it is absolutely phenomenal. Like the fact that it's like a spoken word poem for the verses. Mm, 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 mm. Let's continue on with it. So, as I said, first thing about Born of a Broken Man, I really like that spoken word intro. Um, it's, well, the spoken word verses, it's just really, really goes well for it. And I'd say the second thing I really want to bring up is that guitar line is just vicious. Once again, another song that you could just probably pelt people on Fortnite with bullets. It's a very well put together song, very well structured. So those are 1, 2, and 3, just like that. You know, there's actually 6 things I really like about this. So I got 3 more points. One, 4. I really like the transient guitar line that's kind of like dazed and confused a little bit, and it really just comes out of nowhere. Then the rest of the song just hits you again. That's the kind of musical transportation that sometimes people really need, and it's one of the best. Now, number 5, I'd say um, Zach De La Rocha is so damn aggressive, even when he's doing spoken word, and it really comes out in this song. He really, he really just like really hammers in with those words. Uh, a scene, painting a scene, and you just can't help but visualize what he's saying. Now, the sixth thing, strong outro. One of the strongest outros on the album so far. I'd say, along with the other songs, um, I'd say Mic Check and Calm Like a Bomb have the strongest outros, but Testify and Guerrilla Radio so far have the best all around vibe to it. Sleep Now in the Fire is just kind of in a league of its own. Now I'm going to listen to Born as Ghosts. See you after Born as Ghosts. So, end of Born as Ghosts. And I got 5 things I like about this. Nothing I don't dislike. Nothing I don't like about this. Uh, so firstly, I want to bring up the whole guitar effects thing as my first aspect of things I really like about As Born as Ghosts. I really like Tom Morello's use of guitar effects in this, specifically near the end, but I really like his use of the whammy bar in this specifically. It's one of the driving force of this entire song, and it really works with how the bass is doing too. It really sounds like a very ghostly sort of vibe to it, and I could see why they kind of wrote this song like they did, because the instrumental section sounds kind of ghostly, and yeah, I really like the vibe about that. Now, second thing I really like about it, I kind of brought it up in that point, the bass line. The bass line really hits hard on this one. It's very heavy, and it really works juxtaposed to the guitar line. I'd say it's one of the strongest bass lines on the album, comparing to that like Mic Check and Guerrilla Radio. The third thing I'm gonna bring up is, once again, the drums just ride well. The guitars and the bass really get helped by how well that drum pattern works underneath it. And I'd say that's one of my favorite things about the song, is how like the drums just transport you. This is another song where you find yourself easily burning through it because of how short it kind of seems, but it's really not. It's 3 minutes and 20 seconds, which is pretty decent for a song. And as one of the more middle ranged length of songs on the album, the song really transports you somewhere for 3 minutes and 22 seconds. So now the next thing, I believe, is four. No, wait, that was the fourth one. The fifth one the fifth point I'm bringing up is, I really like how the tempo actually kind of vibes with a couple other songs I think about. this isn't the first song I've thought about this song. Explain to me uh, that why Not Like Us goes over a lot of songs' tempos. Because I could hear Not Like Us over this song for a quick second. I was like, oh, this is that tempo. Yeah. Now, time for the next song, which I somehow have 5 songs left. Next is Maria. Okay, this is another one where the guitar right away is like, yeah, yeah, this is nice. This is nice. And that's the first thing I have to say about this. I have 4 things I really like about this song. Um, the guitars, which I just mentioned, which is one of the most important parts of this entire song. The guitar is literally, it really shows. And you get to hear some of Tom Morello's greatest chops in Maria. I'd say, like, he really makes that guitar speak a different way, especially in the guitar solo in this one. Secondly, that bass line. That bass line's probably the best bass line on the album. Um, I'd give the bass line a solid 11 out of 10 on this one. Um, the drum line kind of feels similar to kind of feels similar to uh Sleep Now and Fire, but that's okay. It really works with Maria too. But it's okay for drummers to reuse drum lines. Um and that's really chill. It really brings a very familiar aspect to the song because it's not one of their big tracks, but it's still something you could listen to. Um, I'm going to bring up the 4th thing now. I'm going to talk about how the song explores the aspect of comfortability. There's so much of the writing process that just feels comfortable about it. It just feels like a classic Rage Against the Machine song that you could just relax and vibe to. It's something that you could throw on and be like, hey, is that Rage Against the Machine? Yeah, that's Rage Against the Machine. That's definitely Rage Against the Machine. It's one of the most Rage Against the Machine songs there is on this album. Now, I got somehow 4 more songs left. And by how fast these have been going, I'd say this is a fun video. I really like this video so far. Voice of the Voiceless has 4 things I really like about it. I'd say that guitar effect that Tom Morello is using throughout the entirety of the entire thing is some of the most chill. I could bop that. Uh, I could bop that musically while I'm playing games and just really vibe with it. It sounds like Mario, but like funky Mario, even funkier than Mario could get, and it's beyond insane. Now I want to bring up uh the Zach De La Rocha just kills it I love it. I love it. He nails it. The song, one of his most relaxing lyrically songs. It just doesn't feel aggressive as hell, but like it's just so good. It's just so good. Sugoi, sugoi. Uh, Now I'd say the next two things I have to bring up are one, I really like the song structure. It's just so smooth and the transitions are flawless. It's one of the more well put together songs on the album. I'd say it's it's up there. It's up there in this album. It's a shame that some of this album doesn't get as played as much, because I noticed with like Maria and Voice of the Voiceless, it doesn't get nearly played as much as the rest of the songs, and it really should. People are really sleeping on some of this album. Now, the fourth thing, that was the fastest, most relaxing 2.5 minutes I've experienced. It's almost like the feeling of when you put something in the microwave and you're going to come back for it, and you come back and it's there after you press the 2.5 minute mark. And this just like really satisfied me for 2.5 minutes. See, you know who. 2.5 minutes is good enough. Okay, New Millennium Homes. I'd say fourth catchiest guitar riff on the entire album. Uh, Behind riffs, of course, Testify and Guerrilla Radio, but also have to say that Mic Check's up there. I really might like Mic Check. Uh, so that's the first of five things I want to say about New Millennium Homes. Secondly, this is another song that really transports you to another place, and it really makes time go by fast when you listen to it because you enjoy it. Um, I'd say I find myself losing myself in the song and enjoying it so much that just like that, almost 4 minutes has gone by. The third thing I really have to bring up is those arcade game noises that Tom Morello makes just really hits me in the soul. As someone who really likes chip tunes, I really like some of the video game noises that Tom Morello has to bring to the table. Now, fourth, the the bass line in this, I'd say, is one of the better bass lines on this album. How the hell does this song have 1.7 million views compared to Sleep in the Fire, Sleep Now in the Fire, which has 16 million? Like, how can nobody get this far? Now, the fifth thing I'm going to bring up is it's just so chill of a song. One thing I notice about this album is it's just banger after banger after banger. I don't necessarily get fatigued from listening to this. And this all sounds like Rage Against the Machine. Now it's time for the second last song. I'd say "In Ashes of the Fall" is not necessarily one of their strongest songs, but there's four things I really like about it. One, it sounds like something out of old shooter game, like a side scroll shooter game. It just really works. And I'm talking about the guitar line. You could really tell that this one Tom Morello was experimenting on, like he was going mad scientist. So that's number one. Number two, the song was, where'd my 4.5 minutes go? That was pretty fast. It really makes time go by super fast. It's that chill of a song. You find yourself losing yourself in it easy. Number three, the lyrics. The lyrics are pretty pretty Rage Against the Machine. It sounds like classic Rage Against the Machine, and you really get a feel for the lyrics here. Now this is one of the most, I guess, flurry filled uh, songs that Rage Against the Machine has to offer. There's so many flurries, drum pattern wise, that you just really get a feel for it. And I feel that it's a perfect come down to the album. Next is the last song, War Within a Breath. Let's let's see how that goes. So that was a strong way to end an album. War Within a Breath, very, 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 very ragey song in a good way. I'd say that I rather enjoy the sound of anticipation of a quick war. Not like that though. Like, what I mean is, this sounds like they were expecting Y2K to happen. That's what I really like about it. Were they doubling down on Y2K when they were talking about this all could change on a New Year's Day? War within a breath, this land of death. War within a breath, this land of death. Honestly, I'd say the guitar lines in this are rather memorable and go hard. They're one of the most important things about this song is the guitar lines. So that's number two. There are five things I really like about this song. The guitar lines in this, I'd say, are classic Tom Morello. You get to see Tom Morello just showcase a plethora of his toolbox of guitar tricks and snazzy riffs, and he spares nothing from his sleeve this song. Now I'm going to talk about uh the bass line. This is like arguably one of the heavier bass lines on the album, and it really gets your heart pumping. And that's what a bass needs to do, get your heart pumping. Um, and it really works well with the drum section. I'm combining drums and bass into one section. Now, there, I think one more thing I gotta say. Yeah, I've already said four things. I'd say that the outro was the part that needed to tie this entire album together, and it succeeded. It succeeded. with flying colors. And it was worth it to see how it happened. This was a good album. This was a good album. I'd say I'd rate the entire album 8 out of 10. Because some of it does sound the same, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do, however, have to say that the three greatest points of this entire album are the way that the rhythm is structured, the way that they know how to layer their instruments, and last but not least, the the overall feel of the songs. The songs are supposed to make you like feel like you're part of the songs and teleport you somewhere else for the time. And I felt teleported. I felt like the songs went by a little fast, but that's not necessarily the worst thing. I, like, it's an entire album I just went through, and it feels like I went through it like a breeze, but a very pleasant breeze. Like, comment, subscribe, and drink your water. And thank you, um, Unthawed Water 747 for suggesting this video.